The stand system has seen many changes since the persistent universe first came online. It's grown, expanded, been reshaped and reformed, and it continues to evolve with each successive patch. And while the upcoming Pyro system and our journey to 4.0 is a big focus for everyone around, it's important to keep an eye on the present and continue to iterate on and improve upon what's come before. And this week's show focuses on the work of the mission feature team in doing just that. Now up first, Space Station Kareah, old stalwart of PvP in the stand system, is about to get a makeover both in looks and in restored purpose.
Back in its heyday, Kareah used to be this big central hub for PvP,
which has multiple entrances and exits and is just perfect for that kind of gameplay.
When we added the UGFs and added some of the security depots where you could go and hack away your crime stat, kind of took away from Kareah's unique PvP draw.
And we've decided that we want to give players a taste of what Kareah used to be like.
Kareah is a security outpost that was meant for Crusader security to kind of have as their base of operations. Unfortunately, it ended up not being fit for living and working there.
It's been abandoned by Crusader. The uses the player can have there is there's a few missions they can take there to kill, stragglers, nine-tails. They can go there to hack away their crime stat. There's some loot there as well, so players do go there to loot.
However, now, if you approach Kareah, you're going to immediately notice Crusader has moved in at this point.
They're going to be using this facility as it was intended. And the way they're doing this, and we're doing this to hopefully entice PvP at this location, is we're firstly beefing up the exterior security of Kareah.
You will be met with new online turrets that will not be too happy with you arriving.
It's now going to be even harder for people to approach and land. When you get there to land, you might find some enemies on the landing pad to thwart your infiltration of Kareah. When you're inside Kareah, there'll be Crusader security all around that you'll have to take out if you want to use that station. After killing a few of them, a security chief will spawn.
Now, if you take this guy down and you look around, he will have a security code on him.
You can take his datapad off, operate his terminal, and then start this contraband dispenser.
It's a device that goes into Kareah's storage facility and pulls up contraband that was deposited by the law enforcement.
And the great thing about that is obviously we've got some highly valuable drugs in the game. We're making even more highly prohibited and expensive goods. As well as scrap. We'll throw some worthless rubbish in there, so it's an absolute gamble.
You'll still be able to wipe your crime stat there. That is always going to be wanted at Kareah. But the new thing we've done is we've removed the UGF crime stats. You will no longer be able to go to a UGF to wipe it.
Obviously, that's going to focus criminals and like law enforcement, those who roleplay law enforcement into that area. But we decided that still wasn't enough. We'd been looking for a way to give players their first ever kind of player-triggered mission.
When this location goes under attack, which is when a certain amount of the AI that are defending the location are killed, a broadcast will be put out to all bounty hunters, anyone who is a lawful player, to come to this location and remove the threat at that location. However, don't get greedy and pick up any of the contraband. You might just be marked as one of those bad players.
So I think players who've been with us for a while will be really excited to hear what we're doing with Kareah.
This is going to pull everyone to this one location to have battles.
It's open, it's functional, and it's going to serve as a dangerous hotspot for both criminal and lawful players alike.
Restoring Kareah to its former glory is just one of several steps being taken recently to provide improved opportunities for PvP combat in the persistent universe. And we're going to check in on its visual makeover as it progresses later this quarter. But now, let's turn our attention to prisons. Or maybe just one prison in particular. That home too often a home for those who break Stanton's laws intentionally, or who just stare at an elevator the wrong way. Let's go back to the mission feature team and discuss the ways they're currently exploring to bring new ways of escaping Klescher's all too familiar grasp.
So currently in prison there are 4 ways to get out. You can wait, you can mine, you can escape, and finally we added a mission where you can go and repair things for Klescher and they'll give you merits for doing so. But we don't believe that's enough variety, so we're working on more ways to complete your sentence.
The prison caves in particular can feel like quite a lonely place. They're very dark, very damp. The likelihood of running into players is not particularly high, especially because there's 3 different routes.
So straight out of the gate, the first thing we're investigating is NPC prisoners in the caves. Currently, the caves are pretty empty. The only person in there is Auralia, and we want to expand that to have these. You'll be able to hopefully kill them if you want to risk the crime, and they might have some things that might help reduce your sentence.
We also wanted to provide more sandbox opportunities for earning merits. So some of you have noticed there's stashes dotted around the tunnels.
They can contain items that you could have bought previously from the vending machine, and they can also find themselves contraband items like prison shivs. We're looking at ways to have a system where players can bring back contraband and other prison-wanted items and be rewarded for it.
We also want to investigate adding a reward for players taking out violent inmates. This will help clean the prison up and stop them from causing a ruckus, and it will also provide, the model prisoners more ways to legally and preferably pay off their crimes to society. And for those who don't want to serve their time, we're adding a new mission into the prisons.
All criminals caught end up in Klescher, and there's lots of vital information to be recovered from there.
In a certain depth, in a certain cave, we're adding what is known as a black spot, where outside entities can contact you and ask you to do work inside of the prison.
In doing so, they will be rewarded very handsomely.
It's always great when we get to revisit locations and missions after getting player feedback, and this won't be the last of updates you'll find in the prison experience.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that folks with a fondness for the old days of Kareah have something familiar to look forward to. That Klescher may finally get some NPC population to better obscure the same familiar faces that I keep seeing in there week after week. You know who you are. And that even with a major focus pushing ahead, it's important we look back, iterate on what's come before, and continue to evolve all aspects of Star Citizen along the way. Now don't forget that Ship Showdown has begun, and it's your chance to advocate for the best of the best in Star Citizen ships and vehicles for a chance to win exclusive paints and prestige, and for us to bet internally on how we think you'll vote. I was so close last year. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee, here in the Bonded Warehouse, our neighbors at the new Manchester goods yard who were kind enough to let us in when the rain showed up. We'll see you all next week from who knows where.